Good evening. We are here with the Village Board of Trustees meeting at the courthouse on Spring Street. It's going to be a special night for a number of reasons, which we'll discuss in a minute. And it is the last legislative session of 2023, a very interesting year. We have a full house. So one of the things we're going to do is change the agenda. So while I want all of you to stay for the entire 2.5 hours we plan to be here at a super meeting, I'm going to just assume that not all of you came for the entire agenda. So we're moving things on the agenda. There's so much food in here. We never have food in here. We're very excited right now. We thank all of you that did the baking. It was very nice of you. So we are actually going to start with, in a sense, our farewell to Chief Kevin Sylvester after 20 years of service to our community. And we will. I just want to let people know the agenda as they plan out their evening. And then we're going to, hello, Deputy Mayor, just in time. And we will then go, because this does not follow your agenda, and for the folks on Zoom as well. And then we are going to go into the point of our temporary chief of police, resolution C. That's what I was looking for as I'm going through this thing. And then we're going to go to the rest of the agenda in the order that it's written. Everybody can come in if they want. There are plenty of seats here. We're going to hear from some folks as well, which I'll call out. I'll go to the microphone. It'll be easier. And we're going to start with the pledge, and then we'll go through the agenda I just presented. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That means we're also going to hold off on announcements till later as well, okay, guys?
But we're just going to do a roll call, okay?
Yeah, the roll call, and we'll go right into it. We'll wait with the announcements and all that afterwards.
Trustee Fritchie?
Present.
Trustee White?
Present.
Trustee Casada? Deputy Mayor Lopez?
Present.
And Mayor Levin.
Present. Okay, Stuart? Going first into a few words about Kevin. Yep. Okay. I'll grab the mic later. So what I want to say on behalf, where's the chief? Up. I grab the mic. Thank you. Thanks. It's just easier this way. Hello, come on in. Welcome. All right. So I started just a few weeks, I think, after you, well, maybe more, a couple of months actually. So I heard a lot of amazing things about you. I couldn't believe how young you are. And thank you, Deputy Mayor, for reminding us how young when you said that you're that age when he started. So there were a bunch of people that called me when it became news that you activated your retirement. You were not only an award-winning chief of police, you made a lot of great changes here. Because there are a number of people here, I am going to read my proclamation on behalf of the board last, because there are people here who want to say a few words. I actually would rather that they do that, and then we'll go into the board. In the mayor's message, I wrote what the process is for selecting the next temporary new chief. So I do want to first talk about you, though. So it's been an honor and a pleasure for me. It has been, I think, for the entire board. All of us have gone through our own sort of career changes at the same time. The board has changed 2 or 3 times, I think, because the village board goes 2 years, 1 year, 2 people elected, the next year, 3 people. So this board potentially could change rapidly. We've been the same board, I think, for 2 or 3 years now, maybe 3 years. We have 1 board member who's more than 12 and 1, I think that's 3 or 4 years. 3 years? So it's a sort of a real great combination that represents a community, both in ages and diversity, in experience, etc., which is a nice way of saying it must drive you crazy. So because for any of you that ever reported to a single boss, you should see what it's like to report to 5 and actually 27,000 people in the community. plus other legislative bodies, plus dealing with, a very large staff. And for a young guy that came up the ranks, who started in the Marines, that must have been a real challenge. And I think you stepped up to that challenge. So we appreciate everything that you've done. I'm going to let Dana Levenberg say a few words because she twisted my arm when I walked in here, as she famously does, because she has other things. But I have to tell you that she was the first one to go and say, I got to be there. I want to be there, and I want to say a few words. So, Assemblywoman Levenberg.
Chief, well, thank you so much, Mayor Levin. I really appreciate the opportunity. I think you and I had a lot of fun on January 1st, 2016, when we were both sworn in together. We started together. I still remember agonizing over the invitation and how the whole day was going to go. And it was amazing. And I'm sorry, shout out to, I'm sorry to say, but we did have the best inauguration. We threw the biggest party. We had the most amazing inauguration. And I think we were fast friends and partners ever since. You have brought so much positivity, in my opinion, to the job, to the force, and to Ossining. And that was to me, one of your hallmarks was how to make this how to make the Ossining Police a place for people to feel safe and to feel comfortable and a go-to. And I think you really worked very hard to that end. One of the things that I know that you're very proud of are the mobile crisis units. I still remember when we were announcing that rollout, and you were sort of one of the first people to step up and talk about how you thought that could benefit. You embraced it, and as a result, it has been a very positive addition, again, in my opinion, but that's also what I hear from you, to Ossining. Obviously, I was town supervisor while you were chief of police, and we had you served the town very well. And I do believe you saved the taxpayers in so doing about
10 million.
8 to 10 million. Okay, somewhere we're up to 10 now. I thought it was 8, but we're up to 10. About $10 million. Yeah. So I think about $10 million. And that is really testament, again, to your hard work and to your looking at how you could find efficiencies, but also looking at the whole of Ossining as one community and how to make it work for everybody. So I couldn't be prouder to be here, except that I don't want to say goodbye to you. And I know that you have so many great things ahead of you. And I'm just want to let you know I'm here for you. I continue to be here for you, just as you were always there for me. And you were always there for the town of Ossining when I was supervisor, and you're there for the people of the village of Ossining. And I, being a resident, very, very happy that we had you as chief, and before that on the force for so long. So congratulations on behalf of the New York State Assembly. I'm giving you this very large, oversized proclamation, which Jamie Hoffman didn't even know we had proclamations in this state, but it turns out we do. So congratulations, and lots of good luck in your retirement at your very young age.
Okay.
And thank you, Mayor, very much.
So, it's interesting, one person leaves, another one will be appointed. Let's keep with that theme. You're the new Assemblywoman. Let's have the previous to you Assemblywoman, Sandy Gala, for a couple of words. I like the idea of like one person leaves, another comes, and then we're going to go Catherine, Borgia, and then Liz.
I have no proclamation for
Isn't that
you
nice?
because
That's nice.
I can't do a
That's right.
proclamation
I
anymore.
love that.
I guess I could fake it, Dana. Anyway, I just want to say congratulations to you. We worked together for 19 years, not this last year, but all the other 19. And I just admired all of your accomplishments. I'd open the paper or I'd see on Facebook that you were having a block party on Spring Street or any place. And I said, oh, that's such a good idea. It's really bringing the community together, what you were doing. And it was so creative. And I think your whole outlook on being a chief was to be creative. With the Facebook that you had for the Hispanic community, was just really so important. And then beyond that, being the head of the Westchester County Sheriff's, not sheriff, police. We used to have a sheriff in the county. We did. And then on the state level, also being the head of that organization is just really key. And I must admit, there was one thing I didn't say. I was so proud when you got cameras and required all the officers to wear cameras. And you were one of the first, I think, in maybe the state. Was it the state or Westchester?
First in Westchester County. I think we're the first.
Definitely the first. And, from a person who lived in the community, I was just so proud of all the things that you did. So I know you're not in the retirement age that I was in, but you're going to go on to do wonderful, wonderful things. But you should be so proud of your accomplishments. Job well done. May you have a wonderful life after chief.
Thanks, Sandy. Catherine, these are folks that said they'd like to say a couple of words. Legislator, Catherine Borgia.
Thank you. So just to echo a little bit of what Sandy said, Kevin has done so much work that is so admired well beyond Ossining. And it's always been really a pleasure to, whenever there's a discussion, we had a lot of discussions about appropriate policing on the Westchester County Board of Legislators, to always be able to point to Ossining and particularly Chief Sylvester for how to do it right. And people admire him far and wide. We've been very, very, very fortunate to have you on the force as our chief. I think that before I was county legislator, I was on the village board of trustees, and I think that I started the year after. I think I was a trustee the year after you came onto the force, but it's been a long, long, long run for us too. And just on a personal level, Kevin's really helped me out in my role as a legislator, in my role as town supervisor prior to Dana being town supervisor. And even personally, when I was going through a fairly messy divorce and there was some issues, I talked to Kevin about it, and he gave me really, really, really good advice about how to handle a situation that could have potentially been explosive. So as a friend, as a colleague, as an Ossining person, I'm just really, really, really proud of you. And even though you're leaving this role, I know you're going to do wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things. So we do have large proclamations, clearly not as large as the states, but one of the things we do in the county is that we do declare specific days in honor of specific individuals. And so lots of whereases in this, but resolved that Thursday, December 21st, tomorrow, will be proclaimed Kevin Sylvester Day in Westchester County. And that's going to be on the marquee. Go take pictures. Definitely go take pictures. Thank you.
I'll grab those. I'm going to go with Liz Feldman, who's supervisor. Here you go, Liz. Camera's down.
Thank you. Hi, Kevin. So we did have the best inauguration. We really did. I started at the same day. Yeah, I was inaugurated for my first time the same day, and it was quite a party. And it has been an honor and a pleasure to serve alongside you. Like it has already been said, you've had some very innovative ideas. You've started a Facebook page that engages well beyond our community. I don't know how many thousands of people want to hear about the Cinnamon Toast Crunch and the different color alerts for the weather. And I'm going to miss that. And I hope that somebody picks that ball up, but I don't know if it'll have quite the same flavor. So many different initiatives that have made our community stand out and made us look good came from your brainstorming. You're willing to try new things and work in unique ways to include more of the community and to be inclusive. And it's noticed, it's appreciated. It's made a real difference. So I really do thank you for that. I have a proclamation. I guess nobody really wants to hear the whole one. We have to mention the 40 under 40, the best, there's just so many wonderful things that you've done. And mainly, I just want to thank you. from the bottom of my heart for all that you've done. So thank you. And I know you'll do great things after this retirement.
Oh, the rabbi. Where's the rabbi that walked in? Hi, you said you wanted to say a couple words? It's nice to know that my mayor message gets read by the community. There you go.
So first of all, I want to thank the mayor for inviting me and for sharing a couple of words. So what I'll do is what rabbis do, is I'm going to give you a 3-minute, not after sunset, a 3-minute sermon on this week's Torah portion. So let me explain to everybody. Every Sabbath, we read a Torah portion. Whenever I need a message, I always look in the weekly portion for a message. So here's the message from this week's Torah portion. Many of you might be familiar with the story where Jacob had 12 sons and Joseph was sold as a slave. So this week there's the reconciliation, and Joseph finally meets his younger brother Benjamin, who he hasn't seen for 22 years, right? I'm not getting rabbinic. Listen to this. So it's a very interesting idea. It says when Joseph and Benjamin, after 22 years, meet each other, they cry over each other's shoulders. So you could read the regular meaning, they missed each other, but the Talmud says they were crying over each other's shoulders, and the Talmud says because they all saw prophetically all the terrible things their brother is going to go through in the future generations, and they all cried over the other person's problems. Got it? So the obvious question is, what about their own problems? If they were able to see their brother's problems, why didn't they cry over their own problems? And here's the answer, and that connects to you. On your own problems, you don't cry, you act. And I wanted to say that for the years that I knew you, you're definitely a person, whenever there was an issue, you always went, you got down to the bottom and you did it. And whether it was, safety in the synagogue when different things were happening, from our personal experience, but I definitely see you're a person of action, and I want to wish you much, much success wherever your next, whenever your next role tells you. I'll finish off in our prayer book. Every Saturday we say, those that serve the community, may God reward them. And I once heard, why God reward them? Because if you're a servant of the community, only God knows how much you put in and nobody else knows. So I want to wish you that God should reward you, and much, much great things coming, I'm sure, in your future, in your next 3/4 of your life, God willing.
Thanks. So I do want to read Jackie Shaw, who is the executive director for IFCA, is on vacation, actually, well-deserved vacation. So I told everybody you get like a couple of words, right? That's why the rabbi went really fast. Because I've heard some of the other sermons and they're in more than 2 minutes. I don't know, wherever you all go, it's never 2 minutes, but he did a good job with that. So let me read Jackie's. Thank you, Chief Sylvester, for your service and dedication to Ossining. In my role at IFCA, you have been a dependable and helpful community partner. I wish you all the best in your next chapter. All of best wishes. And what you told me personally was, I can't believe how young he is. I wish I were that lucky. So, and I said this both in my note and last week, that you have not, most people say it's my next chapter. You got like 4, 5, 6 chapters that you could probably go through. We'll see what happens. So I think that is the people that said that they wanted to speak before we go to the next part. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see the light is like in my eyes. Kemi Poe. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not used to you asking if you could say something. Usually it's Rika. I'd like to say something. So come on up. Just also introduce yourself, please.
My name is Kimmy Pogue, and I am the founder and executive director of a nonprofit organization, Hit a Home Run Against Drugs, here in Ossining. And I was not planning on speaking, but tears couldn't keep from running down my face because we are going to miss you. You have been so instrumental on bridging the gap between the youth here in Ossining and the police department. I have seen it firsthand in your office, the way that you've connected with these young men and the stories they told me about how you helped them when they was a child, when they were little growing up, and giving them that safe space. Dion is kind of upset. He wants to know if you're still going to do the puppet show with him. So you have to give me that answer. You can text me, let me know. But thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for giving us the police officers that have come up to our program and, you know, talk to the kids about safety. And I can call you at any time, and you have resolved so many issues that could have been escalated because the community trusts you. So thank you so much, and we're going to miss you.
Thanks, Kemi. I get reminded every week by my husband that while I say the community center is the most open public space that we have, he believes it's the courthouse. So since we're here and it is open, if anybody wants to speak, I know we're here for two things, but if some of you, if you've come also to say something about Kevin, since Kemi did the right thing and said, hey, I'm a member of the community, I'm happy to open it up. It's not mandated, it's not mandatory. None of this actually is. We don't do this very often, but I think it's appropriate. I'm going to go back to my seat unless I see somebody who, okay. Yeah, I know you're very uncomfortable. I get that. But you know what? It's okay to be uncomfortable. So I'm all right with that. So I'm not going to read all of it. I put in my mayor's message. I put a lot of your accomplishments. This is for you. It's not for the community, but Liz did not, this is Liz's. Liz didn't mention, Liz didn't read hers. I picked yours up by mistake. Sorry. I know that we gave you a date. I just don't know what it is. So, because we try to coordinate that it's not all on the same thing. So Friday, December 22nd, I think you're the 21st. So Friday, you forgot your date. Friday, that's because the village is always more prepared than the town. I'm just saying. No, I actually forgot to mention. No, I know. It was my job to remind the people that did this, so it's my fault. So the 22nd, we actually honor it as your day here in the village and ask everybody to participate. I'm going to go back to my seat. Do you want to say a couple of words, and then I'm going to go through the rest of this? Thanks.
So most of you are going to stay for this and then to watch the next piece, and then you'll go home, and then some of us have to be here until tomorrow, I think, at this point. So I'll go pretty quick. I've had a couple of opportunities to thank people. And one of the things that I was told after I went live on Facebook is that I didn't mention my wife and my children quite enough. So, you know, I considered that my professional thank yous to people in the community, and my family has their opportunity to be with me all the time. But I am so grateful for my two little ones and my wife, who tell me, please, whatever you do next, stay off the phone. They just want me to be home and with them. You know, a lot of what people talk about, if you hear about the Austin Police Department, and when you hear people talk about me, it's not me. I've been an actor for the last 8 years representing some really awesome cops who do a fantastic job. And when you hear everybody says Facebook, and then everybody says, oh, social media, and everybody says block parties. But so I promised all my friends that plan those events and do those things with me that I would keep this a secret until the very end. And so here's what it really represents. Facebook was never about social media. The question of, is it going to continue and what will it be after I leave? It's going to be exactly the same. And the reason is that the character we created, they're sitting in the room. It's Brendan and it's Aaron and it's Joe Spinelli's laid back nature that helps us there, and Juan Encarnacion and all the cops that you meet on the street. And what ended up happening after we created is people would see them and say, are you the Facebook guy? And they'd say, no, but yes, every one of them is the Facebook guy, because the personality I created, I'm not nearly funny enough to do the things that we've done on social media. It was merely a reflection of the really awesome people that I work with that I really and truly admire. I wish someday that I could be as funny as some of them in the back of the room, so creative, just so good at the job. I've had the opportunity to represent them. Block parties were never about hamburgers. Ice cream trucks were never about ice cream. Our block parties were surrounded in areas where we found that there were clusters of kids that were potentially underperforming in school. So we went there and we brought food and made friends with them, and we gave them books and connected them with services and all kinds of things. There are people that watch what we do and they think it's for hype, they think it's for clout, and they think it's for fun, and that we're wasting people's time. We're not. Real police work is connecting with people and building community and giving people something to believe in. And when I watch people online and they say, I'm not from Austin, but I watch what you do, it's not just because everybody should be jealous of us. They should. We're really trying to give people everywhere something to believe in. And so hopefully they go to their police department and say, this is what they do. We expect the same from you. So, you know, to all the people that say, oh, Kevin Sylvester hands out ice cream cones and spends his time playing chess and that can't fix the world, they're wrong. We did change the world here, and it's not me. it's 59, 60 other people behind me that put in the really hard work. And a village board that funded it and let me go out and do those things without question. Sometimes we didn't ask for permission, but mostly we got away with it. And so thank you for that. That's my thing for tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you all. It's sort of part one and part two. And if anybody's in the back, there are seats. I feel like I'm a school teacher. There are seats in the front for any of you that want to sit here. So we're going to go now to the resolution. I do want to add one thing. So mayors in the village of Ossining are part of a board. We all have exactly the same votes. So I'm doing the talking, but all of us have voted on all of these items unanimously. I'm speaking for the whole board. It's an amazing board, if I do say so myself. I get one vote to vote for them too, just like all of you do who live here. But I'm speaking for everybody. I just get to hold the microphone a little bit more. We just don't want to elongate all of this. So we want to move on to sort of the next piece of business. So we have a resolution, right?
Resolution C, temporary appointment of Brendan Donahue as the chief of police. Whereas Kevin Sylvester's last day of employment as chief of police will be December 29th, 2023. And whereas Westchester County Civil Service Rules 14.1 states in part, temporary appointments shall be made in accordance with the provisions of Section 64 of the Civil Service Law. A temporary appointment may be made for such a period not exceeding 3 months when the need of such service is important and urgent. And whereas the Board of Trustees considers it necessary and urgent that a chief of police be appointed on a temporary basis not to exceed 3 months, now therefore be it resolved that Captain Brendan Donahue is made chief of police as a temporary appointment effective 0 hours on December 30th, 2023 for a period not to exceed 3 months. And be it further resolved that during that period of temporary appointment of chief of police, Brendan Donahue will receive $91.4663 per hour based on a 40-hour work week with no payment for overtime. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any comments? Any comments on the board? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Want to do the, yeah.
And that's all it takes. Brendan? So I feel like an MC tonight. It's not my usual format. So here's the thing. First of all, I noticed that no one partaken in the food. Please take it on your way out, or this mayor gains pounds every time we have a meeting like this. Secondly, I just want to explain so people understand. I did try in the mayor message to explain the process. We're interviewing for a chief of police. We have some candidates. We're using a third party a person to interview both stakeholders in the community as well as the two candidates. The board ultimately interviews the candidates and then makes a decision and then appoints the person that we have. So for now, it is not to be read into. There's nothing between the lines. It's totally transparent. This is a temporary up to 90 days, as is stated by our lawyers, that this is how it works. But congratulations for now, Captain. But for now, you will, as soon as we finish this, you will be chief for up to 90 days. So I've got everything digitally here, but this is not my phone. Thanks. Or do we need to say anything more about that? And still nothing. Still an email and not my stuff. Thank you. Glasses. Okay. There we go. We'll do it together. So you actually have to raise your right hand.
Yes.
Can you hold this? I'll say and go repeat it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I, Brendan B. Donahue, being duly sworn, state on my honor
I, Brendan B. Donahue, being duly sworn, state on my honor,
I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
Further, that I'm a resident of the state of New York and I support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York.
Further, that I am a resident of the state of New York and I support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York.
I will obey all ordinances, rules, and regulations of the village of Ossining
I will obey all the ordinances, rules, and regulations of the village of Ossining
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of temporary police chief. Sorry.
That's okay. And will faithfully
I'm used
discharge
to holding this up
and
so
will
high.
faithfully discharge the duties of the office of temporary police chief
In and for the village of Ossining, New York, to the best of my ability.
in and for the said village of Ossining, New York, to the best of my ability.
Sir, welcome aboard. Congratulations. Guys want to take a picture? So continuing with my MC role, here is, for those of you that haven't done this before, the board's going to take a picture with, am I calling him chief now? Okay, with the chief. And then if family, friends, whatever, if you all want to have pictures, we'll take a few moments, give you that time. You're all welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. But for now, we're going to assume that some of you might be leaving. And I would say the elected officials are also welcome to join us. And then, I'm sorry, I'm not actually in charge. I forgot to mention, Jamie will be conducting this. Got all nervous. Yeah. Sorry, folks, I left something off. The chief would like to say a couple of words. Give us just your attention to the front for a minute.
Hi, everybody. I was reminded earlier in the week that the key to public speaking is brevity, so I will keep it short. First, I'd like to say thank you to the board for trusting me to steer this ship into a new year. I'd like to thank Chief Sylvester for being such an incredible mentor and teacher over the last several years as I've climbed the ranks and worked different roles. I'd also like to thank all of my coworkers who really are just an amazing team and are absolutely irreplaceable. I got hired by the Ossining Police Department when I was 22 years old. This year, today, I'm 44 years old. So in a few months, I will have been a Village of Ossining police officer for half my life. So it took me half my life to get up here, standing here today with this badge on, but totally worth it. I'd also like to say that I'm incredibly proud of my accomplishments and what I've achieved, less because of what it means for me and more because it's a reflection of what all of you have contributed to my life. I am who I am today because of the interactions I've had with everyone in this room and many people watching at home. Whether a friend, my family, a trusted coworker, or even an outspoken critic, everyone has at some point influenced me and played a part in who I am today. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very grateful to be wearing this badge today. Finally, the badges that we wear, symbols of our responsibility and our position. Our police officers wear a shield on their chest because they are protectors of the community. This badge to me represents my responsibility to look out for not only our law enforcement mission and to look out for the community, but to look out for every single person that wears this patch. And with that in mind, I intend to start the new year with a hard focus on officer health and wellness. And that's my first order of business in the new year, is to address some of those concerns. I appreciate you all being here. It's truly an honor and very humbling. There's a lot of unknown ahead, but the one thing I'm quite certain of is that 2024 is going to be a terrific year. Thank you.
To get the mic. All right. So if anybody wants pictures, etc., if you have family here, I think. Yeah.
That was a good one. Really good. Got to put on portrait mode. What are you doing over here?
Sorry, Dale.
Okay, all right, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Do we have any, Mayor, do we have any other, do you want to,
Hear you, Sue.
are we going to go right into, public hearings, okay?
Yeah, yeah. Stuart, I love my agenda. Sue, I don't think your mic is on.
It's on. Can you hand her agenda? She left her agenda here.
And then,
This evening, we have 3 public hearings. The first one,
thank you, everybody. If you don't mind continuing the conversations outside. We have people on Zoom and we can't continue until you're all out. Thank you. Take the cookies with you. Okay, so
okay. We have 3 public hearings this evening. The first one being proposed local law 2023 entitled A Local Law Amending Chapter 250, Section 250-33, Vehicles and Traffic, Parking at the Railroad Station of the Village of Austin Code. Is there anyone remotely that would like to speak on that public hearing?
you have to raise your virtual
Oh,
hand.
raise your virtual hand, please. Sorry. Okay. Seeing
Nope.
no one? We closing that one? Do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So. Second.
Any comments?
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a public hearing on sidewalk assessment for Ford Ward Place.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Clerk
sorry.
Donnelly, that we had an issue over here, very quickly.
Oh.
I just wanted to, address the board since there's no one on for the public hearing. I did send in an email this afternoon. Manager Dottori and I, were talking about this earlier in the week with Jamie and with Stuart. If it's okay with the board, we would like to ask that instead you adjourn the public hearing. We had a couple changes
Oh.
that we would like to recommend to this same local law, so we don't have to start the process over, pertaining to the parking on Spring and Main, specifically for restaurants that perhaps want to have people dine there in later hours. So we would ask that something similar to what's being proposed for Quimby Lot East be proposed for a section of the parking lot at Spring and Main. So if it's okay with the board, could we instead ask you to please adjourn?
You want to table it?
Yeah, let's just table.
What are we doing?
Yeah, we'll table the motion. Yeah,
We can adjourn,
You can
we can
adjourn.
adjourn the public hearing to a date certain, and we don't have to renotice it, rather than adjourning it sine die.
Okay.
So if you want to adjourn it to, do you want to adjourn to January 3?
January 3 sounds fantastic.
But wait, isn't it January as a?
Reorg.
That's the
meeting.
reorg.
It's a long biblical experience, but I think if this is an addition that we were willing to vote for, I'm assuming you're going to send us an email prior to that. So if we have issues, we'll have time to look at it. So it sounds doable. If we can't do it then, we'll keep it open for another week or so. It's a
I just
public
think
hearing, yeah.
Usually it's a long meeting. That's
Oh, yeah.
the reason why I'm asking.
We can put it off to the 17th. I mean, it's really, but it's what you folks want to do.
So this is actually a fairly simple tweak.
Okay.
As you know that I just want to put it in context so the board understands. I think it would be best if we could keep it on the January 3rd meeting because it does immediately affect parking for businesses. So we went back and forth to figure out how we can best accommodate businesses during the day, residents at night. Right now, the hourly parking ends at 8 p.m. What we heard because we've been speaking to the business, noticing them over the last couple of weeks, is that for restaurants, 8 p.m. rather is a little bit tricky. And they don't want people coming into dinner at 7 getting a ticket and things like that. So the idea would just be to release a few of the spots, probably the ones closest to Main Street along in the post office lot, so that those can be hourly at on an ongoing rate. So but it is important. The timing is the reason we wanted to bring this is 'cause
Sure.
we wanted to not create problems for any businesses in the short term.
Now, I just love the idea that even after all of this, you guys went back, double checked, triple checked, included the community members and said, okay, let's tweak it. I mean, this is exactly what we need to do. So let's do January 3rd because, hey, we can always extend it, not a big deal.
Right.
But I think we'll be fine.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing to January 3rd, 2024?
Moved.
Second.
Sue?
All in favor?
Thank you, board.
Another public hearing would be on the matter of sidewalk assessments for Ford Ward Place. Is there anyone here that's here to speak on the sidewalk assessment? Raise your virtual hand if you are online. We have no one left here.
There's no one on, right?
So
Oh, there are. I'm sorry.
do I have a motion to close the public hearing on the sidewalk assessment for Ford Ward Place?
No move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sidewalk assessment for 33rd Ferris Place. Excuse me, what did I say, 33rd? 33rd and 3rd. 33 Ferris Place. Is there anyone online that could raise their virtual hand if they have anyone is there? Okay. So I have a motion to close the public hearing on the sidewalk assessment for 33 Ferris Place.
Second.
All in favor?
Wait, are there any comments? I'm looking at you, Dana. Everything's good? Because you know that neighborhood better than anybody else.
Ferris?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fine.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Administrative reports. Village manager Karen.
Before that, that's okay. No, it's no big deal. Does anybody have any announcements?
I actually did want to say something.
Please.
Speaking of where I tend to hang out, like to go through the intersection at Clinton and Linden on a regular basis. We have just put stop signs on Clinton going uphill and down. I would just like to say it's a wonderful addition because especially when you're coming south on Linden and you're going to cross Clinton to keep going, it's really nice to know that people coming up and down the hill, especially up because often it's hard to see who's coming, that they're going to stop. So it is much better. And also it's much clearer down at Croton and Linden, the crossing and the signs. So hopefully that will be enough to manage some of the issues there. But I just wanted to say I like it.
Yeah, please. Are you good? Wait, you're good. Okay, we're going down this way. Go ahead.
Okay, so this Friday, we will be packing baskets for the Baker Cheer Fund. This will be the 108th year that we've done this with the fire department and local members of the community. It's we'll be at the Acme Market at 6 o'clock packing baskets, anywhere in the neighborhood of 275 to 300 baskets. So it's just it's a great thing. It goes to needy families in the village.
I actually do it maybe twice, help to pack. I'm not that useful because these guys move at lightning speed. It's unbelievable. Everybody's got a job. They've been doing it for 108 years. They know what they're doing, but it's like a machine. I was slowing everybody down, frankly. but it's wonderful. And I know you're not going to say it, but I'm going to say it again. We do thank ACME. We thank all of our businesses in the community who both hire locally, which they do, but also support various causes, especially this time of the year. So very much appreciated. And to all the folks that work on it. Manny, have any announcements? Okay. So for me, this is our last meeting, so I want to wish everybody happy holidays. And this year it's a wonderful Christmas to everybody, a safe and wonderful New Year. I'm hoping, I have a theory that even years are always fantastic. So I'm hoping for a fantastic year. And also a happy and joyful Kwanzaa, which starts on 21st, I think. I always get that right. I said 21st last time. I'm still getting it wrong. It's quite amazing. 26. I will also announce, and the village manager, of course, will be surprised since I didn't run this by her first, that we've had some members of the community that would like to do something a little more for Kwanzaa, which came to Dana's attention, to Trustee White. I think it's wonderful. The village doesn't, buy like the menorahs for, the Jewish holidays or whatever. So we have people in the community said they will build one. They'll run it by the village. They'll make sure it's all okay. And all next year we might be able to, in 24, celebrate an additional joyful holiday for folks in our community. And we'll work out the details, but I think it's just a great idea. I knew you know about it, but we didn't really go through approval. I don't even know if it needs like legislative approval. Personally, I think it's a great idea. It's a year away, but I just want to bring it up as part of the holiday that I hope everybody does enjoy their holiday. Lots and lots of activities. And for those listening, for those that pay attention to a lot of this stuff, there are a lot of hungry people. People need coats. It's getting cold out there. The homeless shelter has opened up. We're part of a group. They're a part of a group of churches and Congregation Sons of Israel, the synagogue, that take turns for a homeless shelter for a community. They are not permanent shelters, but on cold nights, they do make arrangements. In addition, our community center gets opened up when the weather really drops and we have some sort of emergency. So just for those of you that are new to our area and follow us, and I will say it in my mayor's message in 24, there is also an opportunity if you know people that are hungry, your neighbors, your friends that need food. There are too many to list, but many of the churches in our area, Feeding Westchester, a number of community organizations that have been publicizing that there will be food for both Christmas and really through the weekend so that people can enjoy the holiday season. And now we can go to our regular meetings because I think those are the announcements.
Okay.
You're on.
We only have one mic, so we're gonna just.
You need another mic?
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good. We got
So,
a whole
so
system
now
down
it's
here.
the village manager, right?
Yep. So,
Okay.
good evening, everybody. Congratulations on your retirement, Chief Sylvester. I have good news. In addition to celebrating the chief's retirement, the holiday lights on our tree are now fully lit. Some of them went out during the storm this past Sunday, but they're all fully lit, and you probably saw them on your way here. So,
Can I interject here? I left that off. So I was downtown. I had a lot of meetings today. Thank you for the cookies, because now I look ridiculous on camera eating these delicious cookies that Sue made. They're delicious. So 2 things. Number one, thank you for the guys really were putting up the lights that fell. A lot of them came down during the storm. People wondering what happened, etc. But everybody was appreciative that so quickly everybody came and fixed it. I don't think people realize in other municipalities they would have waited 2 weeks before that happened. I mean, the speed of these guys just getting there, doing the work. But more exciting, I saw all the new signal lights that were being put up.
next point.
Oh
You're
no,
just
I'm stealing your
stealing my
thunder. Oh my God, no. Okay, I'm going to then let you talk about it, but I was very excited and took many pictures.
Yes. So thank you, Mayor. That was a good intro. The signaling at the 5 Corners intersection was installed today, and we're very excited about that. There's some sort of cleanup work that has to be done, and the damaged bollards need to be replaced, and that'll be completed after the holidays. But the 5 Corners intersection renovation is pretty much done now. So, yay.
10 years in the making, people.
Other projects underway. Work on the pool is going really well. And next week, we're going to actually start filling the pool, which is a good sign. However, we did have some unexpected issues that did necessitate a delay in the opening. So we had originally thought we would be open week of January 9th. This is now, we had to push it to week of January 29th. But we are working diligently to make sure that we make that date. And certainly, if anything else happens, we will let people know as soon as possible. But we are trying to keep people apprised in real time of everything that's going on. The locker rooms will not be done by that time. They're going to take about another month.
Oh, no.
But we have a mobile locker room, a temporary locker room, and showers and bathrooms that will be in a trailer adjacent to the community center, and there'll be a little bit of a tinted walkway so that people don't freeze when they're running from the pool to the locker room. But that will be in place until the locker rooms are done. That was always part of the plan. So we're working on it. And then this past Tuesday, Supervisor Feldman and I, along with Assemblywoman Levenberg and County Legislator Catherine Borgia, attended the Department of Transportation Route 9 planning meeting. As you know, their Department of Transportation is working on a study to make sure that we can, or to look at ways that we can make Route 9 safer. And
9A.
Did I say Route 9? I'm sorry.
Well, listen, you're not the
9A.
only one that into the whole 998
Route 9, and it's right in front of me. I apologize. So Route 9A, safer for vehicular traffic, address some issues that we have to flooding that we're hopefully going to address before then. But this is a part of a study that's been going on for several months. It's wrapping up now. The DOT will be submitting a draft report that everybody will have access to with an executive summary that will detail the major implications of the study. And that will lead us to the next phase, which will include more public information, more public feedback, and more input. And subsequent to that, once a plan is in place that makes everybody happy, at least to the greatest degree possible, we will seek to advocate for funding collectively with the communities that are involved in this, which is the town of Ossining and Briarcliff Manor. So that was a good meeting, productive.
If I could also say, we do have, actually Liz Feldman, the supervisor, is here. And I don't know if you want to add anything, but I'm assuming Karen covered most of what came up there. But I do want to tell the public, there is a project on 9A with the DOT. It is a totally separate, and that the town's actually very involved in it because part of the supervisor's responsibility extends into parts of Briarcliff. And the village is affected by this project, but it's predominantly really the town, Briarcliff. It's a stretch of 9A. On Route 9, we have a separate project that people hear about. They are totally not to be conflated, totally different projects, but both with involving the DOT at some level or another, but they're totally different projects. The trick here is to coordinate all the work getting done on so many different projects going on, but they should not be confused.
They are two separate projects, and apologies for any confusion. We did discuss in the meeting, making sure that as the DOT initiates the Route 9 project, which you will hear about more over the next coming weeks, as we initiate the planning for that all the plans for Route 9A take that into consideration since they are both being executed by the DOT. So they are part of a larger, more global traffic calming issue in the village and town and up Briarcliff. Supervisor Feldman, did you want
There's
to
a mic on, only if you want to. I know that you're here tonight. You're usually at your own meeting, but tonight's a little different. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Always fun for more meetings. I would like to say that the scoping session, had, Assemblywoman Levenberg, Assemblywoman Chimsky, people from Briarcliff, people from Mount Pleasant, people from village and town of Ossining. I was heartened to see that took the comments both sent in after the public work session and especially the ones done at the work session to heart. They're really looking at it. They will be getting the document within the next month, I think they said, that we will be able to share and talk about, how they've, incorporated the public's comments into, their concepts. And as the village manager said, this is a scoping project. This is just the very beginning of the ideas of how can it be safer and how can it, work better and how can it not flood and how can it not impact the neighborhoods as much. And these are all the things they're looking at. And yes, they are looking at the entire corridor, and they said they're going to be working on the drainage and the noise along the entire corridor. And they are listening, to the public. And, I was heartened to see, the direction they're moving in, and they are going to have things for us all to share, coming in the next few weeks. So, and it's always a pleasure to work hand in hand with our other communities, to get something that we all need as a region. So thank you.
Thanks very much, Supervisor. Thanks for being here. Okay, Manager.
Okay, thank you. So I also have, I want to make some appointments to our land use boards. I will be reappointing Michael Aronson, Carla Christine Gibbon Elia, and Bobby Bowker for 5-year terms, each for 5-year terms, starting January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2028. I am also appointing Phil Moria, who's currently an alternate, to fill Nina Aaron's term, which starts on, this will start on January 1st, 2024 and go through December 31st, 2026. For the Zoning Board of Appeals, I'm appointing Brian Granoff, who's currently an alternate to fill Bob DeRio's term. This actually doesn't start until February 2nd, but since Bob did resign earlier, we're just going to put Brian in so he can attend the January meeting as a full member. And then for the Historic Preservation Commission, I'm reappointing Steve Casey for another 5-year term. Again, this would be starting in February, but we figured we'd document it now. February 2nd, 2024 to February 1st, rather, I guess, or I'm sorry, to February 1st, 2028. Sorry about that. And then also appointing Jason Sia to fill an open vacancy with the term starting on January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025. Just documenting those all for the records and thanking all of those people for the volunteer work that they do. It's enormous effort. And wishing everybody a very happy holiday season and a happy, healthy new year.
Thank you so much. Bill? All three of you are sharing a mic. Wow. Okay.
Share and share alike. Ordinarily, at the last meeting of the year, I would go through the number of laws passed, resolutions written, and hours spent in the office, but I need not go into that tonight. I'd rather just say a few words about the chief, if I might. Even though the audience is pretty much gone, this will be taped and kept, so good. I was thinking what to say, and I thought of 2 quotes which were particularly applicable. One was actually said by former President Reagan in 1980, Kevin. And when he was in a debate with Jimmy Carter, and he said, "Do you feel that you are doing better now than you were 4 years ago?" And listening to what we heard tonight from everyone, I think it is a very fair bet to say that the OPD is in a far better shape now than it was on December 31st of 2015. And I agree with you that it is a department, not just one person, but one person does make a difference, and you clearly have. As someone who lives in the town outside, and I know that if Assemblywoman Levenberg were here, she would be scowling at me for using that phrase. The fact is that I didn't know much about the police department before I came here, because the bottom line is, in the town outside, we had either the town police, we had the county, and then we had OPD. So we sort of had a potpourri for a while. And I came in here with really little knowledge of the OPD, little knowledge of how things work. And the chief continues to be an immense resource. It was nice to have another attorney to talk to, because you don't have too many up in my office. So it was nice to do that, but he provided me with an insight which I did not have, and a way of looking at things which was of great assistance, both in the work that I do, the work that's done in this court, and basically, the day-to-day activities in terms of how the different departments interact. And for that, I am and forever will be grateful. The other quote that I was thinking of is one that former Senator Moynihan is attributed to, and that is, you can have your own opinions, but you cannot have your own facts. Much has been said by many people about things dealing with the department, dealing with the chief, dealing with the village. And people will say a lot of things. Most of it is absolute crap. Doesn't have any basis in fact. There's no proof. And there will be some people out there who tonight will be saying, this is the greatest day in the village. Kevin Sylvester has left the department. Those people should just think about exactly what they have and what they have actually lost here. I know the chief will go on to do great things. Hopefully he will be able to find the elevators in the Supreme Court building easier than I can, because I used to take the wrong set of stairs when those stairs were open and end up in the county clerk's office. God knows why, but happened literally day after day, month after month, week after week. But I can say that it has been my pleasure to work with the chief. He has been a ready resource constantly. He has gone over things with me. We've discussed different pieces of legislation during the entire police reform effort. He was very great assistance in terms of explaining how different things work. And frankly, to a mind like mine, not have a police mind, it was of immense help. So I will miss him. I know he will do well wherever he is. I would fear to be his adversary in a court. I just ask that you do not represent our former president, because I won't say it, but there are many attorneys who don't do that anymore. Good luck, Chief. Oh, I'm sorry. Share.
And for the last time, Chief Sylvester.
Thank you, Stuart. I appreciate all the kind words. I think I've said my piece, so I still got a week left here. Back to business. Last week, we graduated our 4 most recent recruits from the police academy. Those officers are now assigned to field training and actively working. They've been here on the day tour today. They completed their in-house TASER certifications and have been actively going on calls with their field training officers, learning the ins and outs of the Ossining way. Last week, we had our last mobile food pantry for 2023. That program will be back in 2024. This year, we've had some bumps in the road with weather, and unfortunately, where it does get rained out, we've got to cancel. But nonetheless, Sergeant Chavez has done a great job of ensuring that the police department has opportunities to put food on the table of every family in Ossining as often as we possibly can. This weekend, Santa Claus came to town with the candy cane run, and I know that he was able to greet many families and children around the community, something that we really enjoy as an opportunity for kids to connect with all of our first responders, together with the Ossining Volunteer Ambulance Corps and the Ossining Fire Department. Hold on, I had a 4th thing. Oh, I'm retiring next week. So yes, we had the big party here. There is one more social event that is open to the public. Next Thursday at 3 p.m., I will officially walk out that back door of this department, and that will be it for me. Technically, no, because I still have to work a half day on Friday, but that'll be my last time in uniform. So for anybody that cares to join us, there'll be a public walkout ceremony, if anybody's seen online, where we have retirement ceremonies. We'll be gathering likely in the courtroom here, since that is public doors open and not inside the police station. And then one last salute out the back door before I ride off into the sunset and then again, come back on Friday morning because I'm required to be here for at least a half day. Yeah, that's all. Thank you everybody for everything. It has been a tremendous ride. I've really enjoyed this. I hope that we're in a better, I don't know if I'm in a better place than I was 4 years ago, but I like to think that the police department is, the community is. We've put a heck of a lot of work. And when I say we, the initial effort here was to erase the word I from all of our vocabularies because nothing is done alone. And I really and truly believe that that's what we created here, is that we have put in an awful lot of work. The work is not done. There's still tons to do. That continues the day I walk out the door here, seamlessly. So I'm proud of the work that we've accomplished. I look forward to watching all of the work that this group puts in going forward. That's it for me, signing off. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it.
Okay, we're ready. Organizational announcements. Announcement shall be event related and shall not be longer than 2 minutes in length. Is there anyone on Zoom or in the audience that would like to make an organizational announcement? Okay.
Okay.
Moving on. Public comment on agenda items. Visitors are accorded a 4-minute opportunity to address the board on any resolutions on the agenda. Is there anyone that would like to do that? Please raise your virtual hand online. Seeing no one? Visitor recognition. Visitors are accorded a 3-minute opportunity to address the board on issues relating to the agenda, but not relating to the agenda, excuse me, but relevance to the common good of the village. Is there anyone that would like to do that? Okay, moving on. Village Board resolutions. Approval of minutes, December 6th, 2023. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of December 6th regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of voucher detail report, December 20th, 2023. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated December 20th, 2023 in the amount of $5,530,684.91. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
We have Dale on the phone. Dale, it's a large chunk of change. I know it's taxes, etc., but if the public could just get a quick read on why it's higher than usual.
Thank you, Mayor. And before I go into a few of the details on that, I would just like to say a huge thank you to Chief Sylvester for being such a fantastic member of the management team that I've had the pleasure to work with. He's always tried to do more with less because I'm always trying to get less in that budget. Thinking outside the box, as we all have seen him do, and just working collaboratively and making sure, everybody's on the same page, depending on what's going on, regardless of the department it affects. So to keep communication open and look forward to working with the next chief. But a huge congratulations, Chief Sylvester. I know you're going to have a fantastic next chapter and can't wait to hear all about it. Moving on to our large voucher detail amount. So I had sent Manuel an email because I knew when he saw this voucher detail amount that there would be some questions. So as we are at the end of the year, we do have some housekeeping items to clean up. And one of those items is to pay for our New York State Employee Retirement System invoice and our New York State Police and Fire Retirement System invoices. We do pay them by December 15th because we do then receive a slight discount rather than waiting till February 1st. So the New York State Employees Retirement System invoice is 1.4 million, and the Police and Fire is 2.2 almost. Additionally, as you can see out on the streets, we've had a lot of paving and concrete work that has been done over the last couple month and a half or so. So we are paying a large amounts for our capital projects, about $700,000 in total. On this detailed report, we also had our September water bill, which was about $185,000. And then our annual Axon safety program for the police is also included for about 182. It is a large voucher detail report, but we are taking care of all of our annual invoices and will be set going into 2024.
Thank you, Dale. Manny, is there anything you want to add?
No, that was actually as Dale mentioned, it was a little bit not as a shock, but I just wanted to know a little bit more of the details as what I was going through, and I saw the email from Dale. I was like, okay, that makes sense. But it was interesting that I actually looked back and I just refreshing my memory. Last year around this time, it wasn't as high, but I think it was a breakdown a little bit different. So it was just a comparison from last year to now. It was interesting. So thank you, Dale, for all the hard work that you actually do, explaining to me before I start sending emails to you and asking more questions. So thank you.
Thank you.
We're in the middle of a vote, right?
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Authorize intermunicipal agreement with the town of Austining for clerk services. Resolved that the following review of the corporation council, the village manager is authorized to sign the intermunicipal agreement with the town of Austining, whereby the town clerk will provide clerk services for the village, such services being detailed in Schedule A of the aforementioned agreement, and be it further resolved that consideration for the service provided to the village, the village will reimburse the town for 70% of the total projected town clerk shared service cost for 2024, and be it further resolved that in 2024, the village agrees to pay the town $210,057.23, which figure is subject to adjustment and or reimbursement. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Authorize lease agreement with Independent Hose Company number 6. Resolved that following the review of Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign a lease agreement with Independent Hose Company number 6 of Austining, New York, 3 Campwoods Road for a 3-year term commencing on January 1st, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sidewalk assessment for Ward Place, whereas on September 21st, 2023, Emily Stack, the owner of Ford Ward Place, authorized the Department of Public Works to perform sidewalk and driveway apron repairs to her property, and whereas the work was subsequently, was completed, and now therefore be it resolved that the itemized costs noted below are just and reasonable, and to be just and reasonable. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments? I'm going to recuse myself from this when you do this.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One recluse. Okay, apologize. And again, all of the charts for all of our resolutions tonight can be found on the webpage, and there's also a agenda posted outside the clerk's office for anyone that doesn't have computer services. Sidewalk assessment, 33 Ferris Place, whereas on September 20th, 2023, Linda Griffin, the owner of 33 Ferris Place, authorized the Department of Public Works to perform sidewalk and driveway apron repairs for her property, and whereas the work subsequently was completed, and now therefore it be resolved that the itemized costs below are just and reasonable. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Award of a bid. And here's our sodium hydroxide 25%. I'm getting there. Deliverable in totes. Resolved that subject to review of Corporation Council, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austining hereby awards the 17-month bid contract for sodium hydroxide 25% deliverable in totes to Slack Chemical Company, 465 South Clinton Street, Carthage, New York, and for a bid amount of $624.32 per tote, as the lowest bid received from a responsive and responsible bidder. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Police Reform Advisory Committee. Whereas on December 8th, 2021, the Board of Trustees adopted resolutions creating a Police Reform Advisory Committee, PRAC, and appointing members to the PRAC. And whereas since its inception, PRAC reviewed legislation resulting in the adoption of local law number 1 for 2023, a local law which significantly revised Chapter 8 of the Village Code, Civilian Police Complaint Review Board. And whereas with many of its initial goals having been achieved, PRAC, do you have a, what do you call it, something? PRAC? Okay, I apologize, I'm not. PRAC members and Board of Trustee Liaison Deputy Mayor Lopez discussed whether the PRAC should be discontinued or whether there should be additional areas where the PRAC could be in assistance to the police department and the greater Austin community. And whereas at the December 13th work session, Deputy Mayor Lopez presented to the Board of Trustees an outline of what the PRAC wants to work on over the next 2 years. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Police Reform Advisory Committee is continued for an additional 2 years until December 31st, 2025. And be it further resolved that in the next 2 years, PRAC members, with the assistance of village staff, will review specific police policies and practices, identify and recommend areas of reform, and recommend actionable reforms to the Board of Trustees. And be it further resolved that the PRAC will provide updates to the Board of Trustees in addition to its annual report directed to the board and the greater Austin community. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
I'm going to say any comments. The only comment is if you want to hear the whole conversation, presentation, it was unusual. It's just that we have an outgoing chair and then there'll be an incoming. So the deputy mayor stepped up to bat and did great. And it was a fruitful conversation. So we don't need to repeat it all. You're welcome to look at last week's meeting to learn more about it. So this is an additional 2 years of a different kind of committee. I just want to make one little correction for those of you that really do follow us. The village clerk said at one point, Police Reform Complaint Review Board, there is a complaint. This is specifically PRAC, which she said 100 times correctly. I just want to make sure nobody picks up the one time. So
No,
no issue.
no. Right.
Oh, you're right. Oh,
Oh, you're right. It
And-
was a reference, yeah.
okay, a reference. So I take back what I just said, replay it on the video later when you see it. Thank you. I think we'll vote, Sue.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, appointment to the Police Reform Advisory Committee. Resolved that the Board of Trustees reappoints the following individuals to the Police Reform Advisory Committee with a term of service indicated herein. Jennifer Cabrera, CPCRB representative, January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2025. Althema Goodson, January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2025. Reverend Sean Ellis Jones, January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2025. Reverend Mary Pfeiffer, January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2025. Bishop Joan Whitaker, January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2025. Jermaine Smith, January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2025. Sergeant Patrick McGovern, OPD representative, January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2025. And Kimmy Pogue, January 1st, 2024, December 31st, 2025. And be further resolved that the Reverend Mary Pfeiffer is appointed as chairperson of the Police Reform Advisory Committee for a term expiring December 31st, 2025. And be it further resolved that Jim Burnett is appointed to the Police Reform Advisory Committee for a term from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2025. And be further resolved that the Board of Trustees thanks the outgoing chair, Jackie Shaw, for her service to the Police Reform Advisory Committee and to the greater Austin community during the first 2 years of the committee's existence. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments? Again, this was all discussed. I do want to thank the Reverend Mary Pfeiffer. When I called her, she was in the middle of wrapping gifts for Christmas. The committee will go back again to work in January, and really to thank all the committee members and their desire to be reappointed for their enthusiasm and really good work. If there are any other comments, and to thank our liaison from our board for this group. You want to say anything?
Right on.
Okay. So,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Finance resolution regarding unpaid water and sewer charges. Whereas the village treasurer has presented to the Board of Trustees a statement setting forth the amounts of all delinquent unpaid water and sewer charges in arrears located in the village limits, including penalties with the identification of the real property affected, and whereas pursuant with the section 11-1118 of the village law, such water charges are a lien upon the premises affected thereby, and now therefore be it resolved that in pursuant with the section 11-1118 of the village law and section 452 of the general municipal law, the unpaid water and sewer charges plus penalties as set forth in the submitted statement from the village treasurer be and the same thereby are levied upon the property in default and added to the annual tax levy with respect to such property. And be it further resolved that the amounts of the levied hereby shall be collected and enforced the same manner that at the same time as may be provided by law for the collection and enforcement of village taxes. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Finance resolution regarding unpaid ETPA charges. Whereas a resolution dated September 5th, 2018, the Board of Trustees declared that an emergency existed and set forth the Emergency Tenant Protection Act, ETPA, and whereas by resolution dated February 25th, 2019, the Board of Trustees modified the September 5th, 2018 resolution so that the ETPA would only apply to buildings completed prior to January 1st, 1974 with 21 or more units. And whereas pursuant with the 2019 Housing Stability and Tenant Protection Act, the annual ETPA stabilization fee is $20 per unit. And whereas this village received from New York State Homes and Community Renewal an invoice for $8,880 based on a charge of $20 per unit for 444 eligible units. And whereas the village may assess a surcharge for its administration costs in connection to the ETPA program. And whereas by resolution dated September 2nd, 2020, the Board of Trustees authorized the village treasurer to assess $5 per unit surcharge for each of the ETPA eligible units. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant with the September 2nd, 2020 resolution, the unpaid ETPA charges are set forth in annexed list, are levied upon the listed properties and added to the annual tax levy with respect to such properties. And be it further resolved that the amounts levied hereby shall be collected and enforced the same manner at the same time as may be provided by law for the collection and enforcement of village taxes. Do I have a motion?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Finance resolution regarding unpaid cutting and removal charges for unpaid snow removal costs. We're gonna skip right over to the second part. Resolve the pursuant with section 88-11 of the code, the unpaid fees for cutting and removal is set forth in the attached statement for the village treasurer from the village treasurer be, and that same hereby are levied upon the property in default and added to the annual tax levy with respect to such a property. And then therefore be it resolved that the amounts hereby shall be collected and enforced in the same manner at the same time as may be provided in law for the collection and enforcement of village taxes, and be it further resolved that pursuant with 229-6C of the code, the unpaid amount of snow removal incurred by the village are a lien upon the below described premises and may be assessed against the premises as provided by law for the collection and enforcement of village taxes. And again, there is a chart that will be online, and it will also be hanging on the board of the clerk's office. Do I have a motion?
So move.
So in comments, Stuart, or I don't know if Stuart or Dale. So most of the numbers on this chart are in the hundreds, 180, 420. You've got Karen Lau twice. It doesn't say what Priestley Street. I don't actually know exactly where that is. Each for $3,600. How does that happen? I'm sorry?
Mayor, these are two vacant lots owned by Ms. Lau. Have bills and photographs from the landscape company showing the what they had to cut down, the trees, the clearing and everything. And we have bills from them with regard to both of these. So that's why that's the number that comes up with regard to two properties. They are adjacent,
Oh, that's why? Okay.
but it's two separate properties.
Where is Priestley Street?
You know where Priestley Street is?
It's
Okay.
down the street from Spring Street.
It's near Seatown? No.
Then it's
No,
a
no, no.
paper street.
Yeah, it's like a paper
It's a
street.
paper
Oh.
street.
Right.
So you have the
Yeah.
Spring Street, have Agate,
Uh-huh.
and off Agate
Right.
parcel is
Oh,
right there.
so it's 7,200, but
So
it's two lots to the same
yes, so
person.
it's
Oh, look at you. Okay.
Agate.
So are we now putting liens on all of this? What are we doing
This
here?
is
Okay. Excellent. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Continuing business of the board. Oh,
Nope.
sorry.
And
I apologize.
authorizing the village manager?
I apologize. One more.
No,
business.
it's okay.
Authorizing the village manager to sign an agreement detailed design services for Route 9 road diet. Resolved that the following the review of Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign a consultant agreement for preliminary and final design services, detailed design services on the Route 9 road diet project, the New York State DOT PIN 8763.06 with
Creighton Manning.
Creighton Manning. 2 Winners Circle, Albany, New York. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments? We still have Sandy Gill if you stayed for the meeting. Thank you. It's the last one. You only worked on it half of your tenure? Yeah. So, but you did say at the last time you and I spoke about this, that you are absolutely convinced it's going to happen soon. So thanks to the village staff who has been working diligently on this. It's not easy to move this up the hill, but with all the right people in place, I think we really feel strongly that this is imminent, that we are getting much closer, and that this will happen sooner rather than later. So very exciting stuff. So thank you. Okay,
All in
vote.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Continuing business of the board.
Anybody?
New
On my
business of the
left?
board.
We're good?
May I ask for an adjournment, for, to executive session for matters of litigation.
So move.
Second.
Sue?
All in favor?
Aye. Ladies and gentlemen, 9:09, and we are done. And this is our final meeting for 2023. Enjoy your holidays and thank you.